When the first light of morning brushes the horizon, the harbor is already awake. Engines cough and growl to life, deck lights flicker on one by one, and a line of boats begins to slide away from the pier, bows turning toward the open sea. Back on the dock, the day started even earlier. Heavy green nets were dragged across worn planks, draped over winches, checked, patched, and loaded. Coiled ropes, bright floats, and stacked crates waited their turn, each piece of gear a small part of a much larger plan. Inside the wheelhouse, the sea does not look like water and waves, but lines and numbers. Paper charts spread beneath calloused hands, glowing GPS screens tracing invisible routes, sonar and radar quietly sweeping the darkness ahead. The captain's eyes move from instruments to horizon and back again, measuring distance, weather, and time. Out on the swell, the bow rises and falls in a steady rhythm, cutting cleanly through each wave. Spray bursts over the rails, washes across the deck, and runs back to the sea in bright streams. Behind the boat, the wake unfurls like a white signature on deep blue water. When they reach the grounds, the preparation turns into action. Hooks are baited and clipped to long lines, which slip over the stern and vanish into the blue. One hook, two hooks, 100, then 1,000. Each one a silent promise that something below will bite. On the surface, a line of colored buoys begins to form, stretching out behind the boat as it moves. Red, yellow, and white dots mark the path of the gear beneath, a delicate thread across a massive, shifting plane. On another deck, a first seine is cast. The boat curves in a slow arc, dropping a curtain of net into shining water. Floats skip across the surface, lead weights drag the mesh down. From above, the net traces a great crescent around a school of fish that only the sonar and practiced eyes can see. The bridge glows dimly in the half-light. Sonar screens show shifting blurs and arches, each one a cluster of life moving through the water column. Decisions are made in seconds, where to turn, when to circle, when to let the net close. Behind the stern, foam churns into a bright trail, drawing gulls from every direction. They wheel and dive, calling loudly, looking for scraps in the turbulence. For them, the boats are moving islands of food. Soon, the work of hauling begins. Hydraulic haulers pull long lines back over rollers, links and swivels clattering in a steady metallic rhythm. Gloved hands guide the line, shifting, untangling, lifting. Each hook rises out of the sea, sometimes bare, sometimes carrying the weight of the catch. On trawlers, heavy steel doors plunge into the depths with a deep splash, sinking out of sight. Chains tighten, the hull vibrates, and the net opens behind the vessel like a wide underwater wing. From the sky, the trawler's path is just a faint, straight scar of disturbed water. At night, different lights appear on the sea. Squid boats ignite powerful lamps that turn the dark water into a glowing stage. Vertical lines rise and fall in synchronized motion, jigs dancing just beneath the surface. The ocean reflects shimmering bands of white and green, a living mirror to the work above. Not all fishing is big and industrial. On smaller boats, a single hand line over the rail, pulled in and paid out by hand, connects directly to whatever moves below. It is a simple, direct conversation between person and sea. Conditions change quickly out here. On the horizon, a dark line of cloud thickens, building into a storm front. Wind sharpens, waves steepen, and the air tastes like rain. Gear is lashed down, hatches sealed, nets secured. The boat's bow rises higher with each swell. Rain hammers the wheelhouse windows, wipers carving clear arcs through sheets of water. Instruments beep softly, while the world beyond the glass blurs to gray. Then, as quickly as it came, the squall passes. The sea smooths, a quieter, softer light returns. When the net comes back, its swollen cod end tells the story of what lies below. Winches strain, cables creak, and the heavy bundle rises dripping from the water. With a pull of a rope, the end opens over the deck, and life spills out in a dense, pounding cascade. Decks become crowded with catch and water. High-pressure hoses sweep away blood, scales, and debris, sending streams rushing toward the scuppers. Crates are pulled into place, stacked in careful rows, filled, weighed, and recorded. Numbers on a scale translate chaotic movement into weight, into value, into memory. Below deck, cold air rolls out from an open hatch. Crushed ice pours down a chute, burying the catch in glittering fragments. In freezer holds, frost clings to steel beams and pipe edges. Compressors hum steadily in the background. Down here, the harvest is preserved in blocks, boxes, and stacks.
Feels good to be back on
Closer
calm
to
water.
shore, smaller
does.
boats set and
Let's
tend
tie her
gill
up.
nets in sheltered bays. Thin net
Keep the
walls
line
stretch
moving,
between
faster.
floats on the surface and anchors on the seabed. From above, they are
right, this
almost
truck is
invisible,
full. Get the next
thin
one ready.
lines dividing patches of
2.5
calm
kilograms,
water.
grade A.
As night deepens, the sea becomes a vast black expanse. Only the navigation lights of scattered vessels mark out a loose constellation across the surface. A red blink here, a green gleam there, the occasional sweep of a distant lighthouse beam. Inside, radios crackle with short, efficient messages. Positions, weather reports, quiet jokes, quick warnings. They travel through static and silence to keep the fleet connected. A knife rests ready beside a coil of rope on the rail, tools of the trade worn smooth by salt and time. The work continues through sunset and into darkness. Boots slip and squeak on the wet deck. Waves slam against the bow, sending spray over the rail. Depth sound